Well, hey everybody, happy Wednesday, December, what is it, 18th? I've lost track of the day, time, whatever. I'm off while my husband is in the beginning stages of recovering from back surgery. So the surgery went extremely well. And we he's on a lot of medication now, so we have to wait till he's coming off of that to make sure he doesn't have leg pain anymore. He's walking around the house going through physical therapy, so it's looking good. So but I've been missing you guys, and I wanted to talk about a topic that's very important to you when you're looking for a job. And the question I get asked is, do all law firms, sorry that this is shaking a little bit, law firms offer benefits? And the answer is no, not all law firms do. So let's talk about some of the benefits that you may require and some benefits the law firms have. I would venture to say, unless you have a significant other who has benefits, and I did when I started. My husband had benefits through the corporation that he worked for. So I could have the freedom to move about. And I did, even when I used benefits at a law firm, felt that I could leave the job as long as I had one to go to that had benefits. But initially, I did not need the health benefits. His company had a premium health insurance company that they supplied the employees with. And so that health benefits are just one of the benefits. Another benefit is a 401k. Sick days, although a lot of law firms are going to calling those just personal days instead of sick days, so people can just take a personal day when they need it and not define it as a sick day. So there are different types. There's life insurance some will offer, disability some will offer, but they're not all cut from the same cloth as far as what they're able to offer, and most law firms I worked with, I paid part of the insurance and later on I wanted to use a local insurance company because my doctors, unfortunately, when I moved to Florida from Oklahoma, the doctors that were with my the insurance company from the corporation that my husband had worked for were all in Gainesville, and I was living in Tallahassee, which is 3 hours away. So I would work with law firms, 4 law firms that had health insurance, so that I could use a local plan, so that I would take a little more than a lunch hour to go take care of, see a doctor for a cold I had or whatever. So that's one, that's the typical benefits a law firm who can afford to offer it will offer. Now, another benefit to me is never having to work a weekend or after hours. That's a benefit that I look for personally. I am beyond that. When I moved to Tallahassee, I went with a software company who had an on-site lawyer, and I was the paralegal. I was in that job for maybe 4 or 5 months before I left because the attorney did not tell me that her working style, she neglected to say this in the interview, and that was partly my fault for not asking, is will I be expected to work after hours or weekends? She worked till 10 o'clock every night and expected me to stay there till 8 at least 3 nights a week. That is not anything I want to even come close to doing. So those are the things that's a question that you ask. If you're talking to the office manager, you ask the office manager what the hours are, and will you be expected to work overtime and or on Saturdays. I know a law firm locally here, and my husband used to manage that law firm. they expect their paralegals to switch off with each other, working every Saturday. So they alternate between the paralegals. I don't care for that at all. I don't think one day off is enough, and I think that's unfair. It's not necessary if the law firm is run in a very organized way, and some are not, and so they need extra hours, and that's ridiculous. But that is a must question for the interviewer, whether you're and you have to interview with the attorney. You never take a job unless you've met the attorney you're going to be working for. That's a major red flag if they're saying, oh, you'll meet the attorney after you take the job and you start. No. So a benefit to me is not just health benefits. Now let's talk about why some attorneys can't offer them. If it's a small law firm, if it's a 1 attorney to 3 attorney law firm, they may not be able to afford to offer the employees benefits. Not all attorneys have a book of business where they are booking clients as much as they should be. Some do not know how to market their business, and so as a result, their income is limited, and they don't know. They're not able to pay employees enough money to get experienced employees. But let me tell you how that benefits you, and also pay health benefits or benefits of any kind. So how that benefits you is that can be a foot in the door for you if you already have benefits through your significant other. That gives you that freedom to start in a smaller law firm and get your foot in the door, because they cannot entice people. They can't get the people who are more experienced, who have a ton of experience, because those people want benefits. And so they have to hire people that have less experience. And that's a foot in the door for you if you don't need health benefits. So of course, usually in employment ads, they will mention what the benefits are. However, some sole practitioners, attorneys who work by themselves, just 1 attorney or 2 attorneys, will sometimes not put that in their ad. But that is obviously an important question for you if you need those benefits. And the other question to ask is regarding working overtime. Sometimes what attorneys will do, an office manager, but it's, in my experience, it has been the attorney saying, we like people who work hard. Understand that can be a type of screen, covering what he or she really means. And you want to clear that up. What does that mean, you like somebody who works hard? And not by asking, what does that mean? But say, oh, do you mean, like, will there be working, like, will there be overtime hours as well as Saturday hours? Get it out in the open and ask it towards the end of the interview, because that would leave me out totally. And if they don't put it in the ad, you have no way of knowing until you're already in the interview. And while that may feel like a letdown, don't put yourself in a situation that is untenable, that you will just be reeling from. I really feel that 2 days off is the minimum, and 2 days together is the minimum that you should have off. And if I felt that, well, I'm going to put up with this for 1 year until I learned a lot, then that's an okay strategy, but I would put a limit on it for yourself, because you need 2 days off. Hi, Memphis, how are you? Good to see you. I've missed you guys. So I had this question come up where when a job is offered and it's your first job, and boy, it's a foot in the door, and it's for a relatively small law firm, the pay is not bad to start off with, but there are zero benefits. Well, how's that going to work for you? If you purchase benefits through the Obamacare national health insurance that we have right at the moment, that's not exactly cheap. And we paid, at one point, we were paying for a while, somewhere in the neighborhood of $600 a month for insurance. So it's a chunk of change out of your pocket. And it's an important thing to consider, okay? And while it may be a foot in the door, will you be able to handle it financially? Because even if they offer you $35,000, and I'm just saying that number, okay? It's not a real number, but if they offer you $35,000, you have to take all the taxes out of that, plus deduct your healthcare costs if you're paying for your, that for yourself. And are you going to be able to survive on that? So really weigh that very seriously, that option, okay? But those are great questions, and most law firms know that to bring on somebody, they need to offer benefits. And the benefits that I see and that I've had most often, and the one I love, is a 401k. And you might think, well, I'm not interested in that, Leslie. And well, listen to what I'm saying. When we moved to Tallahassee, and I worked for one law firm that had a very healthy 401k plan, after a certain amount of time, any money that I put in there, they would match it. So it's amazing how fast you can rack up several $1,000s. What I would do is take out and participate in the 401k when you're eligible, if they have one, and put in something like 5% of your salary and start to build that up. It's a nest egg you're building. And if you're in your 30s or 40s, you should be doing that if you have an opportunity. So I did that at a few law firms. And when you leave a law firm, you can take, they have rules and regulations regarding, you can take the money out that you have put in, I believe. And then, but you have to look at what the rules and regulations are. Like if you leave in 3 years, do you take the matching funds out? So you have to look that up, but it is so worth it. That's a huge benefit that a law firm may offer. And one of the reasons that they offer 401ks is that they want that for themselves. They want a place to shelter and just put some money in there. And so when they bring that on in a law firm, they open it up to all the employees, and I believe that's a regulation where they have to do that. When it's a slightly bigger law firm, say I worked in one that had 5 to 6 and was attorneys, and it was growing. Then they wanted to offer health benefits, and they did that, and we paid, as employees, we paid a percentage of it, and then the law firm picked up the rest. The one law firm I worked with was a 2-attorney law firm, no benefits. That was before I worked with them. And then they grew quickly to a 5-attorney law firm, and I came on the promise that they were going to have benefits, so I wouldn't come unless they did, and then everybody got benefits if you were working as full-timers. So it makes such a huge difference, right? And so that's a requirement for me, but just as much a requirement is that I get 2 days off in a row, and that's usually Saturday and Sunday. Only in an emergency will I work later at night or Saturday and Sunday. If there's a crisis, which there was at a law firm I worked in Tallahassee, and we had an incredible amount of complaints to file in a major case. And one attorney and I worked in getting, it was something like 12 complaints that we had to file with the court and kick off a lawsuit. So none of the staff stayed behind to help, which was kind of unusual, but they didn't. And in that case, I was working till 11 o'clock at night, and I went home to work those hours. I was just doing revisions on documents, got overtime for all of that, and to be honest, that paid for a trip to Washington, D.C. with family members. So I knew I was dead tired after that, but that was just a one-time deal. But I made incredible overtime during that period, and I learned a lot by doing that myself with the help of one of the attorneys. So look at it, look at the big picture. If it was ongoing like all the time, I could not do it. And I want to be able to look forward to going in on Monday. I don't want to dread it. And so having those, Friday night off and then the 2 full days is important, as we all know. So if you have any questions regarding this, just post below. I would love to hear from you. But this was a question that was posed in my class yesterday. So we had a discussion over that, and a job was offered to a student in my class. And I'm always thrilled to hear that. But then you have to weigh, is it a good situation or not? And many more questions that you have to ask in the interview to make sure that you're going to be in a good situation. And you'll learn more about that when you come into the class in January. But go to the website and get some of the complimentary items that I offer you. The 19 Alternative Paralegal Careers list. And the website is paralegalcoffeetalk.com. Look at the top of the website, and you'll see the 19 Alternative Paralegal Careers list. You'll see a free chapter of my book, Legal Break-In. You'll see another link where you can get the whole book. What else? Oh, and then the Paralegal Inner Circle class, you can get on the wait list. It's called Paralegal Inner Circle Class Info, and you can see that at the top as well, and get on the wait list for that, okay? Oh, Memphis, my husband is doing well. He's going through physical therapy, walking around, and so we're waiting until he's off a lot of the meds that they give you, like muscle relaxer meds and that kind of stuff. He's got to rebuild muscle, that because he hasn't been able to easily walk around because of that back pain. So thanks for asking. He's it's rough to go through that surgery. So he was in the hospital for about, I guess it was he went in on Monday night and we left on Friday, so about 4 days, and he's making great progress, which I am so thrilled about. So yeah, but it's like he used to be a 5K runner. Hi Sandra, good to see you. And he did 5Ks all the time, and he up until 6 months ago he had been walking about 3 miles a day. So his legs were in really good shape up until 6 months ago, but then your muscle tone kind of disappears because you can't even walk. So that's what he's working on now, and they're upping his physical therapy. Every time the therapist comes, she's putting him through his paces, and he's putting himself through the therapy as well. He has to do therapy 3 times a day on his own, and when she's coming like 3 times a week, then he does it twice during the day, and she'll do it once. She just left a little while ago, so yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate your prayers for him. you know, it's funny what happened. I got to meet a mom in the waiting room on that floor where they do all these surgeries. And this was in Orlando at Advent Hospital, where the son had been having headaches and was not well in the morning, and then it would be fine. He would be fine for, you know, the rest of the day. And every morning he'd be sick to his stomach. And it turned out he had a massive, massive tumor. And it's on his brain, at the base of his brain. And I wish I had gotten her phone number, but it's funny. It's not funny. It's interesting how God puts us together in a waiting room. And we felt compelled to talk with each other. And she told me a lot of her backstory. And now she has her 11-year-old son dealing with this. So if you would think of Leo, I'm sure has a tough road ahead. So pray for him, because he is a mature 11-year-old and a wise 11-year-old. And he said to his mother, who was upset right before he went into surgery, Mom, I'm okay. I know where I'm going. You know, that doesn't help the mother, but, it helps her to know that he knows where he's going. But just a wise boy. So pray for Christina, his mom, and Leo. We need to just band together, prayer warriors, and pray for that single mother and son. Okay? I don't have her phone number. I wish I did. But I'm going to keep on praying. So, thank you so much, Memphis. I love how God works that way. And here I am. To be honest, I didn't have 1 minute to worry about my husband. I had been praying. You guys had been praying. Family members. I had that beautiful chance to just sit and listen to Christina. And it's a God thing when he puts people together, just like here. So I appreciate you all. Thanks, Memphis, for praying. Anybody else who is listening here on live or via live or on replay, I appreciate you all. So I'll be back to work soon, but in the meantime, I'm taking care of hubby. And his recovery is going fast. And he's older than I am. And so I wondered, for a guy who's in his 70s, how fast would he be able to recover? But I really think because he was really an athlete, and because he ran and he walked and he never stopped doing that he recovered fast. He's recovering faster. So I have to keep that in mind for me for the future too. And so, any questions at all with anything you're dealing with or you're thinking about, because we have a lot of people here on the page that are in different careers right now and looking at, or jobs, and looking at building a paralegal career. And so feel free to ask questions, okay? And I think that's going to be it today, but I wanted to talk about that. Very important that when you move from your first job to the next job, that you don't make what I call a lateral move, that you move to make more money and you ask for more money. Okay? But I have a video on the YouTube channel regarding that, how I increase my paralegal salary. Okay? It's not that the current boss is going to give you $5,000 to $10,000 raise. That's extremely rare. So I would watch that video, and that's on Paralegal Career Mastermind channel on YouTube, and look for how I increased my paralegal salary. You can search my channel there, okay? Yeah, it's Memphis. It was pretty awesome to sit there and listen to Christina. She had been through a lot of craziness in her life and now has a fantastic job in a different part of, like, south of me in Florida, and doing really, really well with wonderful health benefits. We're talking about benefits today, and she needed that because of her son. And she's moved all over the country to do exactly what, not that you have to move all over the country to increase your salary, but in her case, the opportunities were in different states, not in the legal field, in the accounting field. So it was exactly what I teach in that video, only she moved all over the country, okay? California, Virginia, I think Nashville, Cincinnati, and many other places. But the job she has right now is a great job, and she's a manager in accounting over a huge budget, you know, research and development budget. So you never know where you're going to land, and you have to be brave enough to move in order to make a good living for you and your family, or if you're single, for you. Okay? All right, so have a great day. Any questions, comments, post them below. Thanks, Memphis and Sandra, for being here, and anybody else watching live and on the replay. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye.